Yo, 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 you tuning into the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dizzy D Spill, with my co-host on the live.
Farmer Poe, can y'all
Hey,
see
don't
me?
don't don't yeah, don't get in the camera like
Hear
that.
me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all see me?
I want to apologize to y'all for how he got in the camera. There was no need for the extra. You know what I'm saying? The extra LL Cool J um, you know, entrance.
Man, Farmer
It's been
Poe.
it's been a while, sir. How you been?
I'm good,
Bro, you got don't listen. I need you to podcast, bro. This ain't the balloon pop show. This ain't
Did you see
check
that?
out my fresh. I need you to podcast right now, bro. You
I had
you
to lower the elevation. Now it's me, it's Farmer Poe. I'm here. Live and
yeah,
direct.
man. You sound far away though. You got that
I'm
mic hooked
here.
up? You got that mic hooked
Can
up?
y'all hear me? I'm here. There we go.
I can
I like that. That's
if I
better?
can hear you. I mean, I have to turn my headphones up to be able to hear you, man. There's no snare in my headphones.
Not for real?
Yeah, you got to do something about your volume, man.
All right, so let me make sure my volume is all
Hey, you
correct.
doing the old people thing when they trying to figure out their phone and the camera be super close. I can hear you just fine. I don't know what's going on with you. Yo, we got a lot to talk about, sir.
All right, how's that?
Yeah, it's smooth.
Smooth. There we go.
Okay.
We're
So
good.
let's just talk about it, bro. Let's just get into it. I know
Let's
you
talk
watched
about
the fight. What did you think about the Jake Paul and the Anthony Joshua fight? And then the feedback later about he didn't want to go by the script because he respects the sport and he's tired of people like I don't know if this is 100% true, but he kind of took a shot at Mike Tyson not respecting your professionalism in the sport. So he decided to go off script and knock him out. What do you think about this? Do you think this was needed? You watched the fight. What did you think about the fight?
Now, when you were quoting, who were you quoting? Anthony
Anthony
Joshua
Joshua
or Jake
felt. I
Paul?
mean, he's just. I've just been seeing things that's been coming up about him and having integrity for the sport and not going. Basically going off script. Um, I'm gonna be real. If he didn't knock him out, I would have felt like it was a script. We're talking about a, a champion boxer. We're talking about an Olympian versus somebody who's still at the amateur phase. And we've all been saying this, right? We've all said fight somebody that is a real trained fighter and let's see how you do. And to keep it real, some people reached out. I think the almighty Clarissa Shields spoke out, right? And she gave him his props. I don't give no props because we all knew that this is how it would play out if he fought a professional. It's like Super Hot Fire finally doing rap battles seriously and going against a Loaded Lux or a Murder Mook. You don't get points for that. This is what it's really about. So I just want your take on it. What did you think about the fight?
Um, Before I saw the full fight, because I wasn't even in tune with it,
Oh, so you didn't watch it live?
and I'm now I didn't watch it live, so I'm gonna give like kind of like a little understanding. I didn't know that they were. I might have known that they were going to fight, but didn't know. You know what I mean? So I
So
wasn't
it
in
wasn't
tune.
on
I
a
wasn't paying
priority
attention.
list, right?
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to them fighting. Um, and I'm an avid listener of the Joe Budden podcast, right? So Joe Budden is give and the team is giving their take on the fight,
Right.
and so I went back to watch it, and something that they said in the pod. Sometimes I don't like to hear things before I watch them because it might make you be more
Yeah.
predisposed to this thinking or that.
Yeah.
But something that they said during the fight, it wasn't something that was like it tainted how I viewed the fight,
Okay.
but it gave me more insight on how I have been viewing the fights.
Okay. And what was that?
You know me, I'm a person that's like I love history. I've always loved history.
Don't sugarcoat it, bro. You fight, and you've been fighting your whole life. And you
Not just no, I ain't even
you
talking
know
on
how to
that.
hit the
Not
heavy
not I'm
bag.
not
You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
I'm not even talking on the sport.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
Oh,
even
you,
gonna
you
talk
talking
about the
on the
sport.
integrity level.
I'm gonna talk about the sport, but not in the way of like the
How the
way a
masses is
sports
talking about.
advocate will watch it. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I've always been fascinated and like intrigued with history, but also even in my older life, I'm starting to like be more intrigued with history because
Okay.
I can view things as happening the same way. You know how they say history repeats itself, right?
Right.
So we have this guy, Jake Paul, who's a social media
Personality. Yeah.
sensation, personality, whatever. He's famous. Um, and so he gets into the sport of boxing.
Right.
One one thing that I've noticed is that historically, socially, it doesn't mean it's always right, but or always true. Not right, but always true. Black boys and men, we are seen when it comes to hand-to-hand combat fighting and sport, we are kind of seen as the more dominant, more likely
Yeah.
to win. Doesn't mean it's always going to happen,
Hmm.
right? We're going to beat up white kids, Asian kids, Mexican kids, all that. When it comes to the sport of boxing, we're known as being more smooth, fat, like nice with it. We're the top ranked of being the heavy, like the champions.
True.
People know how black fighters fight. Historically in America, we have this history of the Great White Hope. And so when it comes to this thing of the Great White Hope is there is a person who is put up against what we naturally we feel like we just naturally have this ability, right?
Hmm.
To be good at whatever athleticism, games, sports, whatever it is, we feel this way. But there's
Right.
been champions, right?
Right.
That whether you white, black, Mexican, or you European,
Hmm.
you're gonna go for your fighter,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I'm not trying to string this, make a long story shorter, is Jake Paul has fought in the last couple of years what we deem to be, they haven't all been fighters, they've all been athletes, but they've all been black athletes who were incredibly great in their own right.
Okay.
They are not current fighters, they're not current athletes.
Okay.
He's won respectfully. It didn't look like he cheated on any of these bouts, whether it was with a MMA fighter, whether it was with a basketball player, a football player, any of these athletes, he's beaten
Okay.
them.
All right.
Came to boxers, he beat them.
Mm-hmm. Who are we talking
He
about that he beat?
finally
Because he did beat. I don't think he beat
beat
Tyson.
it's a few he beat Tyson.
You think he
He
beat
beat
Tyson?
Tyson.
You think he beat
I
Tyson?
don't think he how do we think he beat Tyson? Do we think he beat Tyson in points? What do we think he if
Well,
we're
there's
talking about Mike, if before you say my fault, before we say it, we're talking about Mike Tyson.
yes. We're talking about Mike Tyson, Iron Mike Tyson. So
If Mike Tyson
when you
don't
say he
kill you,
beat
if
Tyson,
Mike Tyson don't kill you, he might have lost.
well, Mike Tyson has came out and said that he was going off of a script.
Of course, it's a script. Of course, it's a script. It's a script, but
Okay,
it's
so
not
by that
scripted.
logic, you're
It's
saying that's where
improv.
he lost that because
It's improv.
he lost according to the script, right? Is that what you're saying?
It's improv. It's improv.
Okay.
So Anthony Joshua, I'm not saying he's the best fighter of any or best athlete of any of the people that Jake Paul fought,
Okay.
but he's a current young person. He's young, current, big in size, height, weight, all the shit.
Okay.
they've been hailing this white boy up as the Great White Hope, bro. This is what it is in America. Whether we people
This is
understand what it
America.
is or not. I feel like things are done intentionally and unintentionally.
Okay.
Like I feel like history repeats itself whether people intentionally do that shit or not. It's bound to happen. Anthony Joshua doesn't represent us as a whole as black people. One, because he's from the UK, and there's a lot of like cultural differences between us. But there's a representation in what he stood for
Right.
and what Jake Paul stood for.
Right.
Jake Paul felt like he's only going after certain athletes. Why he ain't never fought none of the like I just said before, right? He didn't just fight boxers,
Right.
right?
Right.
He fought
Well, we see what
athletes.
happens when you pick a fight because you see Andrew Tate got his ass whooped.
But Andrew Tate a little different. Andrew
Mhm.
Tate, we not gonna knock him and say Andrew Tate is a fighter, bro. That
Not that
nigga
night.
got wins. He's not that night. Everybody got their day day for it to happen. But
Well, yeah, of course.
what's Andrew Tate is a certified fighter, bro. That nigga got like 70 something wins over the couple of losses he lost. He's
Hmm.
he's a certified. He's not no sucker. What I'm saying is the deeper story than with Jake Paul is less about the fights and all that shit. I think
It's
people
more
are
about.
surface
So you
level
think it's
with
more
this
about
shit.
publicity or propaganda? Is that what you leaning towards, or?
No, it's more about America is repeating itself. This is what it is, bro.
Well,
This is the 2026 version of all the things that we've seen. We're talking about Trump. We're talking about people being deported. We're talking about a white fighter being held as beating all these other black athletes. Why has he not fought any other non-black athletes? He's not fighting just black fighters don't dominate boxing. Black fighters don't dominate mixed
when you
martial
say they
arts.
don't dominate
But these
boxing,
white the
do you mean by the presence, or do you mean by actual like champions? Because I mean, you got Terrence
both
Crawford.
because
You got Terrence
yeah, both
Crawford,
but
who's done
I'm,
something
I'm
that's
saying
never
just
been done.
presence.
You got Clarissa Shields. You got
Yeah, but why
we
he
are
ain't fighting no
dominating
other white
boxing.
why he ain't fighting white people?
Oh, you talking
Why
about Jake
he
Paul?
fought yeah. This is what I'm saying. He's being held as the great white hope, bruh.
Well,
This is deep. This is a science. This is deeper than
no,
just a white guy fighting fighters. Like it's surface level on that. But what I mean before when I'm about to land because I'm almost I put the landing gear down. I'm about to land.
okay.
Um, when I said he's fighting athletes, he's not. He's fighting. He's fought football players. I think he's fought basketball players. He's fought boxers. He's fought all these different athletes, and they all been black.
Well, I do agree with the Great White Hope concept because you got to look at the story of Rocky. You got this guy, this ex mobster muscle fighting the heavyweight champion of the world who has a lot of characteristics and charisma like a Muhammad Ali, right? To the point
Hmm.
where Muhammad Ali himself I think at an Oscars event or some event where he actually gave Stallone a hard time, like, I was supposed to be in that movie. That movie was about me, and you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. I
Hmm.
mean, historically in the country, the black versus white, or the America versus Russia, which was to me, one of the biggest Rocky movies. When it's versus another entity that's considered powerful, it's gonna sell. It's gonna put asses in seats. It's gonna sell tickets, right? My
Hmm.
thing is, what happens when somebody goes off script? Because if it truly was a script, Anthony Joshua definitely went off script, and
Oh, I don't think it was a script. I don't think it was a script.
so you don't think You don't think any of these fights? Or you don't think that specific fight was a script?
Some of the fights could have been.
Okay.
Some of the fights could have been scripted, but I don't think most of them were scripted. No. I don't
So
think, honestly, to be honest, I don't think any of them were scripted. I don't think any of these. I'm not about to knock Jake Paul as not being athletic enough or capable enough to have beaten any of the people he beat previously. I don't. I don't think that he wasn't athletic enough or trained enough to be able to have gotten in the ring with Mike Tyson. There might have been a script on the on those. There might have been, and even I don't even think a script like WWF. I think is and there might have been more scripted like that, but I don't think I think he challenges himself enough or respects himself enough or believes in himself enough to have fought these people legitimately. Yeah, I don't think any of them are taking a dive for the money.
I
I don't
think
think that would be I
I
don't
don't
think
think
that would be
anybody took a
likely.
dive, but it did feel like the Tyson fight was scripted only because when you look at the actual interaction of the fight
Hmm.
versus how Mike Tyson still has incredible speed and power for his age. Now, we're not gonna lie and sit up here and say he's the same Tyson from the 80s and 90s, right? But he has the same power and the same everything, for his age. I think, he could probably knock out a couple youngsters, with being trained. So I don't think that the script was ever for these guys to take a dive. However,
Now, script. When you say script, I want to distinguish in saying that
rules,
I think
rules. To
okay.
me, rules falls part of
Now
a script because you know what
there
I'm
might
saying,
be more rules in another person's fight than others. Now,
right?
but no. Now we can say there's always rules in every fight that's professionally fought.
But we're talking about
Them niggas agree
rules
to
that
rules.
exceed boxing standards, right? We're talking about, hey, and this is just a hypothetical, right? Let's just say I'm,
Hmm.
the famous YouTuber Dizzy D Spill from the Dizzy D Spill podcast. All right, he wants to
Hmm.
fight Manny Pacquiao as in an exhibition fight. I have never fought in the ring a day in my life. I've had street fights. I've had whatever kind of fights, fighting with my cousins. I am not a professional fighter, but this is what I want to get into, which
Hmm.
it's much harder for people that are real fighters and have to work their way up, right? But when you're a celebrity, you can move mountains, right? And I get in the ring and I know that Pacquiao is an assassin. So I'm going to say, hey, Pacquiao, only 6 jabs in the face per round. Um, you can't go for the kill. You know what I'm saying? Easy on the body shots, right? Preferably, if I have my arm already up, that's when you swing. You, we understand that because of wrestling, right? Because we watched wrestling, but this is the thing: it wasn't fake. We used to say wrestling was fake. Wrestling is not fake; it's scripted, and there's been a problem with sports fanatics and fans starting to feel like these sporting events are scripted. Super Bowls, NBA championships, but the script I think is kind of a convenient thing to say. What I'll say is there's a predicted outcome, right? There is a certain there's a certain outcome of like this is how this fight is going to end. You could do whatever you want to do. You can improv, but the fight has to end like this. The fight has to start like this, and you guys need to put on a show. You know what I mean? So script
I
can
don't
be a
know.
multitude of different
I,
things, but we know it's not
I agree
organic.
with
Is the
that.
point?
I agree with that, but I think with Jake Paul,
Jake Paul is an entertainer, bro. That's
yeah,
I look
but
at Jake Paul,
this is where I'm
the
gonna
Jake
like.
and Logan Paul brothers. I look at them as entertainers, and if you want to be entertained, you're going to subscribe to the things that they're doing, like these boxing matches and these rivalries, and they're entertainers. but we
Yeah,
can't take it serious. We can't take
this
things
is
like
where I'm
this
gonna
seriously.
distinguish where I think. This is where I'm
Okay.
gonna distinguish what I think.
Okay.
I feel like Jake Paul. I feel like the agreement to me, what I think, based on who these people are, and I could be very naive. I feel like the people, Jake Paul included, take themselves too seriously as athletes to take the dive, but that I feel like exhibition,
Okay. All right.
especially with the Anthony, and especially now with the Anthony Joshua fight, that made me feel even more about how I feel. Like it might be different rules for different fights, more increased rules, lessened rules on each fight that he had.
Right.
Um, they just seem like too much of athletes, like they respect themselves on their athleticism and their legacy to take the dive on purpose. I could be wrong,
Right.
especially with this Anthony Joshua. The Anthony Joshua fight makes me feel like that way even more now.
Well, the thing
Like
about Anthony
he broke
Joshua
that
is
nigga's
that
jaw
we've seen him
in two
lose.
places.
We've seen him lose. Right.
But I'm talking about how he beat Jake Paul.
What do you mean?
He broke that nigga jaw in two different places.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But that.
when that
But
happened, that
do you
made me
get do
feel
you
the
get
way I feel
anything
now.
out of that? Him breaking his jaw in two different places. To me, that explains how serious and impactful professional boxing is. Everybody can't break jaws, and everybody can't break jaws in two different places. You kind of have to know what you're doing or be a professional. And to me, I looked at that as this is an example of what happens when you step up to something, and even if you respect it, there's a lot of people that step into things and they don't have a respect for something. They just feel like they can do it. That's where the development of the respect starts, when you start enduring and experiencing the things that champions and former champions had to go through. Like in any
So
sport, when you
who had the upper hand on Jake Paul in any of these fights besides Anthony Joshua?
nobody,
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
even Mike
That's what I'm
Tyson,
saying.
even
He
even
didn't have
even
the
Mike
upper hand
Tyson,
on
because
Jake Paul.
He's not
He
the young
didn't.
Mike Tyson. He is an older
He's
age
not.
who could get hurt.
He's not.
Mike Tyson.
And not even the older age who could get hurt, bro.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about a Mike Tyson who has been for the last 15 years
Mm-hmm.
been a Zen Mike Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about
We're
Mike
not talking about
Tyson,
ferocious
who
Mike.
is a pit bull
Right.
who didn't have no control. We're
True.
talking about a Zen Mike Tyson
Mm-hmm.
who has the ability to tell you and exert his dominance,
Right.
but do it in a controlled way. He
Right.
can control it now.
Right.
He's had many years of mushrooms and smoking weed and getting older. He's not Mike Tyson.
Right.
It's not Mike.
Right.
That's like Tyson.
Light Tyson. I like that.
That's like Tyson.
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking about Nate. Nate ain't even height, size, athleticism worth trying to fight Jake Paul. Just because you're a sports athlete, Nate is not um cuz from what's his name? From Baltimore. Nate is not him.
You're not talking about Nate Diaz, is you?
No, I'm talking about Nate Robinson.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Come on.
Mm,
Come on, dog. Yes. Yes. But you
Okay.
know what, dog?
So
Listen.
we got Nate Robinson, we got Anderson Silva,
We
we got
have a
Mike
whole lot of
Tyson.
yeah.
We got who else? Who else? We got this. Who else? Stupid ass thought they was gonna get up there and fight a nigga because he black. Because I'm black, I could fight him, and you getting your ass whooped looking stupid. So I'm saying it, and all that to say that Jake Paul has positioned himself just like in the Keenan Ivory Wayans movie
The Great White Hope. Yeah.
right?
Right.
Okay. And before that, it was James Earl Jones and the Great White Hope, right?
Right. Right.
And before that, there was Jack Johnson, right?
Right.
Right. Okay. And
Hey,
before that,
Jack
and
Johnson's
I mean,
character
after
is in
that,
Harlem Nights too. I know. Well, look, dog.
after that, after that, we got a lot of other champions, just
Yeah.
like how they're trying to make you think my nigga
Well,
is
even
stupid because he couldn't read off the paper on the Breakfast Club. They'll make you think he's stupid and dumb. They made
hmm
us all feel like that.
hmm well,
That's all I'm saying,
well,
brother.
even Floyd and Conor McGregor. You know what I'm saying? That was,
They thought Connor was finna get in there and do something
and it's like
spectacular.
we're talking, and this is what I mean when I say like these are people that what was Bruce Lee's quote? I think Bruce Lee's quote was, I don't, you know what? It might not even been Bruce Lee, but I just like the
Unless you
quote in
touch a
general.
fly,
And the
you are not a
quote
monster.
was, I don't fear the man that knows 1,000 kicks. I fear the man that practices the same kick 1,000 times, or maybe it was 10,000.
Yes.
Perfectionists, assassins, right? Technicians, if you will. You understand what I'm saying? Um, I like the turnout of the fight. I hope people learn something and understand something, that there's a difference between people that are professionals and technicians and people that are interested and happen to be fairly good.
Anthony Joshua been sitting at home for the last couple of years. He's mad. He's irritated. He's
Mm-hmm.
pissed off
Mm-hmm.
because niggas getting picked off for fights, and he been sitting back looking like an action figure,
Mm-hmm.
wondering why niggas ain't pick me. I will beat the dog shit out this white boy. And he was getting frustrated during the fight
Mm-hmm.
because Jake Paul was doing a good job of his technique and
Mm-hmm.
his strategy. The little
Mm-hmm.
stiff jab, and then I'm gonna clutch. I'm gonna keep clutching, and he was getting him. And then the last two rounds, Anthony Joshua got mad.
Mm-hmm.
Got mad,
And we see the results of that, right?
and it wasn't just that stress up. He was beating it. He was getting ready to. He was fucking him up the last couple, like
Oh,
the last part of the
he
round
was
before.
definitely a human
He was,
pinata.
yeah, yeah. He
He was
got mad. He
definitely a
got mad.
human
He's like,
pinata.
damn,
We
y'all
not
got
even
mad.
going. We
Yeah,
not even going. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But but
So
but you know we
I
can't
like that fight.
we could go forever on the Anthony Joshua joint. We
For
got
sure.
we
For
got to
sure.
move on, man, because we got to talk
Let's
about
go.
this. We got to talk about this cultural drama right here, man. That's very controversial, but I think needs to be talked about. Um,
What?
Gilly and Boosie
Mm-hmm.
have had difference of opinions about the movement of F the streets
Fuck
that
the streets.
has been campaigned by, I believe, and you correct me if I'm wrong and add the names: 21 Savage, G Herbo. Who else?
I think it was 21 Savage that
There's a couple other
spearheaded the
artists
whole
that started
movement,
yeah,
if
that
you
started
will.
going on with the movement. But here's my thing.
Yeah.
Bootsy
Mm-hmm.
said some things that I agree with, and Gilly kind of said some things I agree with. Bootsy
Everybody says
basically,
some shit I disagree with.
well, you said who said something? Gilly?
I said everybody says some shit
Oh
I
yeah, yeah,
disagree
yeah,
with.
yeah. You can't 100% agree on any side, but what Bootsy was saying is that, the streets made you who you were. I'm gonna continue personally to keep talking about things in the streets. The
Mm-hmm.
streets was the one supporting you when you were trying to get your start. And if you're not, and
Mm-hmm.
if you're gonna say F the streets, don't talk about the streets no more. Talk about eating better and talk about going to college and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Gilly's approach was kind of like, these dudes are rich. They shouldn't have to talk, about the streets no more. The whole goal was to get out. But he was
Mm-hmm.
kind of opposing Bootsy's
Keep
stance
going. I'm
on not
listening.
talking about it no more. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so even though you gone,
No,
um
no, no. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
anyways, what I'll say is that I agree with that. I think that if you're going to start a campaign and a movement
Mm-hmm.
of F the streets and this, that, and the third, now you have that responsibility of not talking about, or I shouldn't even say talking about it. I think you could talk about it as much as you want, but I do think you now have created a barrier to where you have to now talk about it from a different lens. You can't talk about it like you do it and you glorify it. You got to talk about it like how you experienced it and what happens and what could happen. You know what I'm saying? And so my thing is, what does this mean? You guys are saying F the streets. What does it mean in its entirety? Does this mean that you guys are going to start rocking quarter zips? Does this mean that we're going to start promoting the 9 to 5 and no more hustling? Does this mean that is this an attack on hustlers and street dudes? Are you going to start calling that culture lame? Because when you say F the streets, all of that is part of the streets. Being a P, being a gangster, just being a hustler, getting over, doing whatever it is that you got to do. That's all under the umbrella of the streets. So when you say F the streets, you're saying F a lot of things. A lot of things that's tied to the streets. Are you prepared to really walk away from that and change your tune? That's my question, but what do you think?
I've been thinking about this for a lot of days, and not really a lot of. I've been thinking about this topic as it pertains to 21 Savage and hip hop and us as the black community for a couple of days.
Okay.
I've been thinking about this type of shit for years though.
Prior to this being a conversation.
Man, fuck the streets, nigga. And fuck anything what niggas talking about. Fuck the streets. It's nothing else to be explained about it for me. Because I'm at the point to where I'm irritated and I'm sick and tired of motherfuckers running around here acting like they can't be confident of who the fuck they are and stand on what the fuck they believe in and who the fuck they think they are in totality of that.
Okay.
Because motherfuckers have ego problems. You afraid to really say fuck this bullshit that you talking about. Because when he got on the phone with one of his partners, he was like, I didn't mean to say that. I should have said save the streets. No, nigga, fuck the streets. Because y'all act like y'all don't know what the definition of the streets is. Y'all want to come and want all these different definitions and understanding. Fuck the streets, my nigga. I've been standing on that since Tiny Tim. Fuck the streets. The streets is nothing but bullshit. And a
Well,
lot of us black folks will still hold on to these values of, oh, it's different things in the streets that we could like, oh no, the streets save me. The streets say, what is the streets then? Define the streets to me before we have these
well,
conversations,
here.
because to me, I think the streets is nothing but carnage. It's not nothing that like we should be holding on to as true values, because I could take them same values that you niggas talk about and say is in the streets, and I could take it to corporate America. I could take it to just being a regular person, and all those different morals and values could still apply. So it's not the streets that we talking about.
Yo, you muted. You muted. You muted, family. You muted. Yeah, you muted, bro. You see, you was going in, dog. You had it going, and then you went mute, man. It's a sad day, man. It's a sad day. I think the universe is telling us that I should pick up from here. Because you see, it's a fight. You see, he fight. Oh man, yo, it's a fight. It was a fight, man.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you now, man.
So,
You
like I
was
was
going.
saying, no,
Did
no, no.
did,
I'm
did,
back
the,
in.
did,
No,
the,
let me,
did
let
the
me, let me
AirPod
finish
die on
getting what
you?
I'm saying. 'Cause I've been wanting to say this shit for a long time. So you can hear me.
I
I'm
can hear.
clear.
I was cracking up. I
All
was
right.
like, bruh, man. Hey, you was flying the plane, man.
My
Using the jet stream,
AirPods,
crazy.
my AirPods died. So
Yeah, I
all right,
figured. I figured.
that's what I want to say because I've been wanting to say this whether niggas hear it or not. We as the squares, L7s, niggas that just been doing us for a long time. We've been saying this shit for a long time, for years. We've been saying this shit for years. Fuck the streets, the mentality, whatever y'all want to make it as or claim it as. We've been saying this shit for a long time, bro.
Okay.
We
Well, this is what I'm gonna say, man. And it's a lot of people that might not like it. You might not like it.
mm,
I think when we talk about the streets, there's a lot of different nuances to it. But without going into a whole bunch of different nuances to where the message will get lost, make no mistake, I 100% agree with you with the culture of the streets. Fuck that shit. It's the rules are never followed to the T. The code is beneficial to you and yours and nobody else. There's no real honor. You know, in war there was honor. You know what I'm saying? There was honor for your enemy. You see it in Troy and all these different. There was no so there's no code of honor. There's no real respect. There's nothing that's off limits. Like the mafia had things that were off limits. You know what I'm saying? And so I look at it like this. With that being said, the problem that I have with the streets concept is I don't agree with siphoning everything from the streets and then saying, yeah, F the streets. You use the streets to push your music. You use the streets to push your merch. You use the streets to push your brand. And you use the streets to promote and perpetuate a narrative about your background. People, they like to pride themselves on the streets when certain things happen. Yo, I'm a street nigga. I don't need to do this, or you know, I'm from the streets. I don't go here, or I don't talk like that. So people have put the streets on a certain type of level as a sense of pride because of where they come from and all they know. Now, in some of their defense, all they know, you know, is a big part in when it comes to character, when it comes to self-respect, when it comes to even pride, if you will, to where a lot of people just don't know better. The problem comes is that when people say that just because you don't operate like you're from the streets, because you don't come from the streets, that you have this label. And what I've learned in society and in culture and in pop culture is that a lot of times people want to clown you for having opportunities. People want to make you feel a way for being in a position that they would have took that opportunity if they were given. Right? So you'd be like, oh, look at dude, look how he dressed. Oh, yeah, this dude probably ain't never seen a gun before. I think that's awesome. I think it's great. Like when I meet people that's never been in a fist fight before, I'll be like, yo, like that's kind of dope.
Did you do it? How in the fuck did you make it through life without getting to a fucking
without going through a fist fight? You know what I'm saying?
It'd be mostly women who I find like that, but
yeah. For me too. Me too.
I never met a dude who had never been in a fight before.
Well, yeah, because even decent people have people that hate them. Even people that's you know, generally decent, no matter who they come across. There's somebody that
almost got in a fight last week. You know that, right? At the club.
Bro, I believe you. I believe you. Not just because it's you. Not just because it's you, but because this is the society we live in. You know what I'm saying?
Kicked him I was about to fight him. I was about to beat his ass.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I believe you. We live in a society where a lot of things are running rampant, and because people have a screen and a cell phone and all of these different things, everybody's tough. But the thing about the street life is that there are consequences from actions that nobody is going for example, you go out there, you put in that work, and I say with air quotes, you put in that work in the streets, and then you get something called street cred. That street cred don't get you commissary if you doing 25 to life. That street cred ain't gonna take care of your mama and your kids, or that street cred ain't gonna take care of your grandmama if you was raised by your grandmama. And let's keep it real, like street cred is only good to the pirates. And guess what? They don't even honor it. They'll take an OG out or whatever. So I do agree that if you're going to stand on something, you say F the streets, right? And you decided to say that even though your whole entourage and security team is street people, let's find out what you really about. Are you gonna fire them and hire professionals? You know what I'm saying? Because
So
if the streets is turning
this is
you're
what I
turning
mean.
your back. You're turning your back too. You're
This is
turning your
why this
back.
conversation to me is a lot of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
As we have not defined what the fuck is the streets. To me, the streets, some people would take it as a noun, a
Okay.
person or a thing.
Right.
I think we have to get a little more, excuse me, specific about what the fuck the streets is. The streets to me,
I think everything needs to be defined like that. If I'm gonna keep it real with you, including that, because a lot of people will say things, and here's the thing: LA street culture is different than Bay Area street culture, and that's the same state and the same region.
yeah, but I'm saying like street shit, like what
That's
the
what I'm
fuck?
saying. Like even the codes are different. So what is considered street if every environment and region you're in, their street code, culture, and everything else is different.
And because niggas will say the streets as if the people in the streets are the streets. It's not. I don't think they're synonymous with each other for because people keep saying the streets supported you, the streets supported, and the streets made me. The streets made me who I am. It's like my nigga, it didn't make who you was, my nigga.
Right.
You was who you was gonna be despite the streets.
Right.
Like, and I'm irritated, and I be looking for arguments with black folks now, especially since this topic is up. I want to argue with a nigga. The fuck are you talking about? The streets is us. Like that's synonymous with black people. Like
Okay,
streets
you
is.
know what? See,
I feel like niggas keep making the
you just
streets is
triggered
us,
something. You just
and the
triggered
streets
something.
ain't the ghetto. The streets ain't even the ghetto.
Well, you're triggering something that I'm gonna address right now that maybe hasn't been addressed in previous episodes. For and I hope the people that are watching this episode, I hope the people that are watching this episode um understand. Okay? Let me get this real quick. This is what I want people to understand about the projects, the hood, all of this stuff. And I'm going to try to make it quick because this is something that could last hours, what I'm about to say. All right. Ghettos were not started and coined by black society and black culture.
It's not a black word.
We are not founders of gangster concept and gang culture. All right. Matter of fact, if you go back to when our parents were kids, the word gang was used as group. Me and the gang are going to go to the store, things like that, or say gang, because that's the crowd of people that's listening to you talk, right? We are not black people are not the founders of crime, especially Western civilization crime. That means gangster, that means organized crime, the word gang, ghetto. We are not the founders. Ghettos is, I believe, in a whole different. Is it in Germany? Is where ghettos, people that lived in poverty, people that went through things. That's not any of we have as a culture in America have adopted other antics and other practices because when our ancestors were brought over here, there was a reset of the game of what you're going to believe and what you're going to understand. So that means everything that black culture has participated in has been adopted except for the damn music. Except for the music.
Even not even except. I
Uh-huh.
say everything that we are and who we are in America
Right.
incorporates is a seasoning part of the ingredients and added on to things that we already were and incorporated things that we were not. I can't
Absolutely.
can't.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I think that's important because now when we tie it back into the gangsters and the gang banging and stuff like that and hood life and whatever, to be honest, man, it is corny. And it's so corny that the people that we looked up to that are now in their 40s and 50s and pushing 60 also in so many words are saying it's corny. Now they feel like they have to dance around what they really want to say, but I'll tell you what, they're not talking how they were talking 30 years ago. There's not one gangster rapper from the West Coast that is talking and moving exactly like they were
All
30,
right.
35 years ago.
I'm sorry to move the conversation, but you just said some shit to me
Okay.
that I have to admit to, I have to accept, and I kind of am like, I understand more, and I'm like, I'm proud of everything you just said to me. Just made me just immediately think like all these kids nowadays who are not like, they're not willing to just accept shit. They rebellious.
Mm-hmm.
They talk back against all the shit
Right.
that some of the values and shit that we try to uphold, and they are directly against it.
Mm-hmm.
I felt once you said whatever you said, just I was like, damn, I feel proud that they like revolt against some of that shit.
Mm-hmm. Bullying is
I'm
not cool. Bullying is not respected. The era that we
mm,
come no
mm,
listen, the era
mm.
that we come from, the bully had respect. Now people are starting to push back and say that bullying is lame. You know what I'm saying? Picking on people is lame.
Bullying the name though.
Hmm?
I don't agree with that.
With bullying being lame?
I think like I
The
think
bully, but you
there's
got to think the
I
bully in our
understand that
culture was
kids have like
always
different
some
way of
hood
thinking.
dude or some gangster.
I think in in American movies,
Okay.
cartoons, whatever different types of that type of entertainment, right?
All right.
I think it's one, it's necessary, and we do it in different ways, and depending on our culture.
Bullying is necessary.
Of course,
No, in what way is bullying necessary?
because bullying is directly correlated with shame.
So you're talking about a righteous bully?
What do you mean by righteous?
Well, when you say that it's correlated with shame,
Hmm.
my thing is, as somebody that loves school, hates confrontation, is going to school, and they're doing whatever they need to
You or
do.
me?
In some, no, I'm speaking on just a hypothetical kid, right? And then some bully decides to pull up and say, oh, give me a lunch or this, that, and the other, or look at his square, look how you dress. What is necessary about that?
Because there's never one bullying does not totally define. How can I say it?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. You got time.
There's a thin line and correlation between different attributes and different things that we're talking about. Bullying and shame is very closely related, right?
They could be synonymous.
Okay. What if I pulled up to you and Wayne and I'm wearing some shoes that niggas is like, what the fuck kind of shoes is those? Niggas are gonna joke about it. They're gonna make fun of it.
Right. That's bullying.
I'm not saying it's bullying.
That's ostracizing. In our community,
Wait, wait, wait. I didn't.
we've
Hold
made
on.
an agreement
Wait.
as a culture that sometimes that's what need to happen. But that's not bullying. That's
There's
ostracizing.
ostracizing.
Huh?
There's poking fun of. There's shame.
That's shame, yeah.
All of these are all part. It's not up to you to decide on how
But
someone
you can't
interprets
call them a bully because you're losing. You're losing the bagging battle. It can't be a bully.
if you keep wearing the stupid ass shoes to school,
Uh-huh.
that everyone is saying those are not the cool shoes,
Right.
you'll be deemed as bullying. Some will view it as shame. Some will view it as a ostracizing.
Yeah.
Some will view it however they view it. It is what it is, however you interpret it. We
Yeah.
don't get to decide how the
Well, I
next
think
person.
I think it starts to mutate into something else because then now we not just on your shoes. We on your whole outfit. We notice you
So
get dropped off at the front by your mom and she make you give her
so
a
get it
hug,
together. Get it
you know.
together. How many niggas got it together and some niggas didn't get it
I
together?
got it
Get
together. I listen.
yeah.
Listen.
So
I I I
you're gonna
I
say, are did you get bullied?
I've been bullied. It stopped though.
Sometimes you got bullied. Sometimes you got made fun of. Sometimes you got
Listen.
ostracized.
Listen.
Sometimes
I
you got poked fun ass.
I
It's
got
all the
bullied. I got bullied in elementary school, but
uh,
it was a group. But it was a confusing bully. And see, these kids today don't know about this type of bullying right here, because there was people that would mess with you for no reason, but then sometimes they was cool with you. There was you wasn't the person that you wasn't the target for the day, right? But then the bullying for me, it got too excessive to where I went home and I got something from at home and I brought it to the school and I had it in my pocket, and that same person I felt like it's bully time. Hey, bow, I'm gonna hit you because I'm a bully and I can do that. And then I had to, do what I do, and it landed me in a lot of hot water that could have changed the trajectory of my life. You know what I'm
so I'm
saying? If
saying
certain decisions weren't made.
so I'm saying is everything
That was the
in
last time I was bullied, but
but everything is up to interpretation
right,
on that end.
right,
If it's all to me, my point is this: if it's bullying, if it's poking fun of, if it's whatever all those things are,
okay,
they're in the same category.
okay.
It's the person who is receiving that to interpret what it is for them. We don't get to decide that. We don't get to say,
We are,
hey,
but
nah, we was just saying this or we was just saying that. You shouldn't feel this way. It's up to the person. And the deeper
but you also have to remember this is a element of what we were originally getting at. So we're talking about like we're talking about like the street life, right?
hmm
And part of the street life is a different style of bullying. You understand what I'm saying? And so since we're talking about that style of bullying, that style of bullying involves peer pressure, taken advantage of, you know what I'm saying, owing a certain level of respect to a system that won't take care of you. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah, but some that's what I'm saying. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
If for me, if it falls all in the same category,
Okay,
everything is subject to interpretation.
that's fair. But I know that one thing that's not really having an issue in that area is when people say F the streets, because we both agree on that. We both agree that there's nothing beneficial for you. There's no success story that ever exists from somebody that's from the streets, stayed in the streets, and is doing great. Just doing great. Like just all the way around. There's not one success story. But guess what? We have hundreds, if not maybe thousands of stories of people that made it out the streets, that done well for themselves, and the streets still consume them.
But this is what I'm saying. This is why this conversation is bullshit and it's confusing for some people.
Okay.
We are saying made it out of the streets.
Okay.
These niggas is interpreting the streets as person, places, and things.
Okay.
It's a noun. We're just saying places and
Mm-hmm.
things.
Right.
But there's another part of it. It's a
Okay.
person, place. they're thinking of the streets as being the collective, the people, the community.
Right.
They're thinking of the streets as being more broad than we are.
Right.
We're
But
thinking of the streets not as like the same way as they're thinking of it.
well, the biggest part of the streets is none of those things. They're elements of it, but that's not the biggest part of the streets. And I feel like you might be saying what the biggest part of the streets is. So go ahead and say what I think you might be saying.
Mentality.
Mentality. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I was thinking too.
Hmm? And a lot of these niggas will get it confused. They'll expect people to, and it's the streets is the mentality because all these niggas are saying, man, fuck the streets, man, fuck. Like everything that every nigga is saying fuck the streets. When a nigga say fuck the snitches, that's part of the streets.
That's part of the streets. So so here's the
Like everything
thing.
that's happening to these niggas and everything that happens, I be confused and I'm frustrated is because I'm irritated because we've been hollering fuck the streets for years and you
Right.
niggas was arguing with it. Calio wanted to fight me over niggas saying some shit that I said.
Mm-hmm.
You, niggas just want to say it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck the streets, nigga.
I see it like this.
Streets, nigga. Niggas suckers.
I see it like this. The problem that I've always had with the streets is, like I said, the mentality, right? You'll come to a place that's not street at all and bring your code of ethics, your thoughts, your attitude and everything. And you expect people to abide by it, but let somebody dare just walk through your neighborhood. Not give a proposition or change something, but just walk through the hood. And that right there is that's just one of the 100 million contradictions of the street mentality. Of the street mentality. That's the difference. And for me, the way that I see it is I agree. But I think people like me and you, it hit different when we say fuck the streets because we've never depended on it. We've never glorified it. I mean, outside of music, we've never glorified it. We've never said, I'm finna go join this set or I'm finna go roll with this neighborhood or I'm finna go run down on these people to show whatever. But we've said, nah, man, it's totally okay and accepted and cool to just be a decent person and not be involved in those type of politics and type of behavior. But I think the more impactful thing would have been mentality, F the streets mentality, because the streets, when you generalize it, it makes up of more than just violence and a terrible culture. You know what I'm
What
saying?
else? What else is it that? Because I know what you're trying to say and what you're about to say,
Mm-hmm.
or what you might be trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that is positive at the streets that we have to uphold, that we have to distinguish? That we
No,
be like,
no, no.
nah, no,
There's.
don't. I don't mean fuck the streets on that part. Fuck the streets on this. Like, what do we have to distinguish?
Well, I don't think it's parts of the streets that you feel you need to highlight to say, hey, look, these are good things about the streets, but to call everybody that came from the streets and that was their only way of coming up to demonize them. You know what I'm saying? Because there's people out there that
Because
came.
see, that's where I'm getting irritated with.
Yeah.
It's because maybe my definition of fuck the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say fuck black people? Did I say fuck the get? Like, what are we
Yeah.
talking about?
Well,
Because
like,
that's where we have to have a conversation about
well, I
is
feel like,
what I'm not the streets. Black people ain't the streets. Black people are not synonymous with the streets, and I keep getting irritated with this
well,
fucking conversation.
we're not synonymous with the streets, but I do understand when there's somebody that comes from that and kind of had to fight their way probably through school, fight the bullies off of them or whatever the case is. And so when somebody tried to check them in a way because they carry themselves a certain type of way, like, hold on, don't get it twisted. I come from where I come from. Don't play with me like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm naive to the
Um,
culture of what's going on. But you also have to remember something too, dog. The people that are getting triggered by something as simple as F the streets are the people that's perpetuating the mentality. Because people that made it out the streets to make something of themselves, and I'm talking about people that went to college, became a businessman or whatever the case it was, and they had to fight through those adversities. They're not the ones saying, nah, bro, we got to put some respect on it. They're the ones saying, hey, I made it out. You can make it out too. The only people that's
But
feeling the way,
what about those of us? That's where I'm irritated at. I'm thanking you that you brought that up.
right?
Fuck them niggas. To me,
Mm-hmm.
not fuck them, but
Mm-hmm.
fuck them niggas.
Mm-hmm.
Because nigga, we since for a lot of us since day one, we've been hollering that.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all want to say fuck this mentality, all this bullshit, nigga? What about you niggas who was talking about fuck education and fuck school and fuck you square ass niggas? What
Mm-hmm.
about you niggas? What about that? What about you niggas
Yo, you want
who
me?
day one pushing this? Oh fuck school! I don't need this school hustle and all. Get your shit right then, nigga. Go and hit the gym and get your dribble right. Since the streets is what's gonna help you get it out of it. Cause we've been hollering that. We've been trying to give you the game. You had teachers, you had mentors, you had friends, you had a lot of people. You
Yep.
had square ass niggas like us trying to tell you nah. Or we didn't try to tell you shit.
Yep.
You came and hollered at us telling us what we need to do.
Well,
And we kept the program straight, nigga. And we've been doing this shit since day one. And you niggas running around now 30 years later. You niggas running around after all these motherfucking years in prison. All these people dying and all this shit. And you want to come talking to us about these streets, nigga? About why it's fuck the streets now, why we should understand that. Nigga, fuck them streets the same way we've been saying that shit. That's
yeah,
how I feel.
yeah, and I agree with you.
And
I just
I'm sorry for being passionate about that shit because these
you
niggas get hot.
you can't say
I've been
sorry.
hollering
You
this
can't be
for
saying sorry on your own platform. This is what we do. The reason why I'm chill with it is because I agree. I just look at it. I just also look at it in a sense of like, because I've been moving like that. It's like y'all late. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Y'all are the ones that late. Like
yeah.
the the
And I
the,
want to talk
the
to them
thing
like they
is the thing is I've also believed in, like, I don't really care to listen to people that got to benefit off of it and then try to come back and tell, or because they learned a valuable lesson that they always knew why
some
they
of
get
these niggas
like.
do, bro.
I think
Some of
let me tell you
these niggas
something.
knew
Let me
and
tell you something I think is disrespectful.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I think it's disrespectful to
Mm-hmm.
not give an opportunity to people that didn't come up like that and that speak against that to speak to these kids. Why does the example always have to be somebody that made the mistakes and lived to tell about it instead of
I think
somebody
mm,
instead of somebody that just did it correctly?
I think it's authenticity. So I'm passionate about what I'm talking about because like I've always been passionate about who I am. But what I can say is like authenticity and just to distinguish myself from others is that since I've been born, anybody who knows me, they know I'm authentic in who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Like my friends and family who are like, whether they was in the streets or not, they ain't never like treated me like a quote unquote square
Mm-hmm.
too much because I am who I am authentic. I'm not gonna like I've never been different. I'm not trying to like find myself and do this, you know what I'm saying? Do something outside of who I am. So I
Right.
can understand that. I think
Well,
I just be with the fact that like niggas could talk aggressively on that end. Why the fuck I can't talk how I'm talking? I talk how I'm talking, like on my end. You niggas,
no,
nobody.
no, we're always going to be warranted that those people that are conflicted with what we saying, they got to deal with themselves. What I will
Right.
say is the reason why it's factual what we're saying, because it's one thing to be like, well, that's our perspective and that's their perspective. Now, the reason why what you were passionate about, because I feel the same way, the reason why we are right in what we're saying is because most of these street dudes, these gangsters, most of people that came from the streets and they found success in entertainment, you want to know what they have in common with us? They want their kids to go to the best schools. They want their kids to stay in the safest neighborhoods. They live in the good neighborhoods. They live in the neighborhoods that have gated communities and everybody recognizes you. They stay in the decent areas. So if what we are saying and what we've been saying since we was young people, right? F all of that. This is what I want. They want the same thing. Look at all of the rappers that came out banging, the West Coast legends that came out banging. And then look what happened when they had kids. Some of them before they had kids. All of them, dog, all of them. And the same thing goes for people that live in the South. Bootsy is a great example. Bootsy just made a post where he said his kids can always come back home, no matter what's going on. It's not like that in the hood. You'll hear plenty of people in the hood, in the streets. I mean, I've been on my own since I was 15. I've been on my own since I was 12. I got kicked out when I was 18. And you see what I'm saying? All of them cats. Gilly, rest in peace to his son Cheese. He didn't want that life for his son. That he said that himself in the interview, I believe with Shannon Sharpe or Cam. No, it was Shannon Sharpe. He said in the interview that they had some issues prior to his passing because he didn't want him living that life. You know what I'm saying? There's none of these celebrities, none of these dudes that was from the streets or talk about the streets want their kids to embark on the same journeys and experiences that they had or that they rap about. None of them do. None of them. So the debate ends there. It's only contradiction at this point. Anything that's said that opposes what we're saying or anybody that's saying F the streets, it's only a contradiction because nobody, it's the same thing. Like, I'll give you the same example for like dating culture, right? Let's take a female for a second. A female that's like, I need a nigga that's going to do everything, pay all my bills, blah, 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 blah. And then they have a son, right? And the little girl come around their son making all them same demands. That woman is going to be like, not my baby. Nah, my baby's too good for this. You see what I'm saying? The rules change so fast when circumstances are different. When circumstances are different. But in this case, even these two guys right here, they do believe in F the streets. Boosie has a huge compound in Louisiana with multiple houses built with streets for him and his kids to live on. They're not living in the Fifth Ward. They're not living in the Magnolia Projects.
I feel like Boosie I think it could be niggas is ignorant, niggas is ignorant and understand, or niggas overstand. Because, bruh, why is it not so easy to just be like, separate the streets from the people? Like,
well,
the
he
people,
did
like,
say, okay, if you feel that way, that's fine, but don't rap about it. Huh?
Like, everybody in the ghetto is the streets, or everybody that's black is the streets. Like, what is
You talking about what Bootsy was saying?
Any of these niggas?
Well, Boosie was saying that Boosie was simply
mean?
saying that if you gonna say F the street, stop talking about it in your music. I agree with that.
What he's I agree with that too.
I agree with that.
I agree with that for sure, totally. Anything other than that, I agree with him. But once they start responding and interpreting, they'll be like, man, the streets made me who I am and who I. No, the streets didn't make who you is, bruh.
The streets ain't do your homework, apply for your job applications, and participate in things to get you to the next level.
How many niggas in the streets and went through what you went through? Everybody made it to that. That don't mean that is what that mean. You gonna be who you gonna be regardless, bruh. You is who you is, and some of the shit that we go through, and some of the shit that it makes who we are, and our character. It builds our character, but for the most part, it's going to increase who you are or decrease it.
Right. For sure.
So I get irritated with these niggas. That I be irritated, nigga. And the streets made
Well,
me who I am. Man, fuck them streets, nigga.
the thing is this.
Damn,
Even that can be a form of a contradiction. If somebody's saying, okay, the streets made me who I am and what I am, but you don't want those same things to mold your children, obviously there was a problem with how you were molded, and that's why you don't want your kids to participate and engage in that shit. So instead of saying, hey, I have no regrets about where I come from and what I went through, however, I know that there's better out there, and I'm gonna make sure the next generation in my family does that and has those opportunities. There's nothing wrong with saying that there were discrepancies and problems and issues with how you came up. And when people try to make it seem like for example, I was having a conversation with my mom because we were reflecting on family because we had a tragedy in our family. And I said, Mom, there's things that I disagree with. There's things my brother disagreed with a lot of decisions that you may have made. But in its entirety, we are appreciative and we understand. And I'll never look at it like this child was the favorite or this whatever the case it was, because in its entirety, you did what you needed to do. So when people talk about the streets and they say things like, "Oh man, it made me like this and it made me like that," well, what would have happened if you grew up upper middle class? Would you have given the same credit?
right? Because how many athletes, how many entrepreneurs, how many people, how many slaves had the resilience, but they just didn't do it, or they may not have had the resilience.
That's a different level of
Just
street
because
talking
you
about the
sitting there,
ancestors.
well,
For
I
real.
wanted to, like your example you just said, it's a lot of athletes that put in the work. That don't mean you was going to get what you wanted
Right.
or get to be a professional.
Right.
It does not guarantee success,
Right.
any of that.
Right.
You know what I'm
There you
saying?
go.
So I don't know. I feel like a lot of us, especially Black people, we keep correlating, because and that's why I was saying what I was saying. How many athletes like Steph Curry or tons of different athletes who are professional and extremely great at what they do, who didn't grow up with this resilience? They didn't have to grow up in the ghetto. They didn't have to grow up without having any or not having anything. It does not
Look,
guarantee your success because of that. Just
look,
because you have resilience doesn't mean you're going to have this urge to be better than whatever.
let's look at it like this, dog. LeBron James grew up pretty much single parent household. I wouldn't say the ghetto, but he didn't grow up with a lot of opportunities that middle class and upper middle class kids would have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry is NBA generation. Okay, his father played in the NBA. He was around NBA players, so we could say that he's had a pretty comfortable life being the son of an NBA player, and his brother also is an NBA player, right? So they're NBA royalty. But you know what's crazy about Steph and LeBron and our culture? We respect them both, despite the upbringing. You know why? Because of success. So that's
But
why.
I'm glad you said that.
Go for it. Go ahead and cook, man.
I think based on upbringing, culture, and unfortunately skin color, I myself and others are going to initially respect LeBron's upbringing and his success
Mm-hmm.
more than we will than Steph Curry's. And that's not to downplay Steph. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a LeBron fan. I'm a hater.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an acknowledger.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna respect LeBron's come up more than Steph's.
By the cultural standards or just by work ethic and notoriety?
Work ethic, notoriety, culture, The fact that LeBron didn't have a father. Steph had both parents. Steph is light skinned. LeBron is dark. Like, there's a lot of
A
these
lot of different
cultural.
nuances that'll make people gear
Mhm.
LeBron.
Yeah, and I'm a
Right.
LeBron hater.
Right.
I'm a LeBron hater, nigga. But I could sit here and say, yeah, nah,
Mm-hmm.
nah. Niggas
Do
get
you think
praised.
that? Do you think that's kind of
Like,
a Do you think that's kind of a problem though?
mm, a problem for who?
Well, see, I see it differently. I see it like this is the way that Steph Curry came up having both parents and having an NBA, father and stuff like that. Take out the NBA father thing. I think when our youth comes up and they're successful and they have all of the different components of what you're supposed to have to build your character and put you on the right path to success, that should be championed and promoted and admired just as much as somebody that got it out the mud, if not more, because there's this narrative that you got all of that success because of that adversity, and that don't have to be the face of black success. Is a whole bunch of struggle.
It's
That
hard
doesn't
to do
have to
that.
be that.
I don't know if you could do that with them two, Steph Curry and LeBron James, because the two that we just put against each other are two of the greatest that have ever been. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost hard to make that comparison and be like, well, this is because it is, and this is because of that.
No,
Like,
I'm
even though
saying the mentality. We were talking about mentality earlier, right? The
and
mentality
it's
in our
hard to
culture
think of
of
any
saying
mentality.
I'm
Them
gonna
niggas got
respect them more because of what they went through than them who didn't have to go through it. Because once you become a parent, right? The
mhm.
one thing that you're trying to protect your kids from is not going through specific things that you felt like you shouldn't have had to go through. And you don't want you want your kids to have separate problems, not the same problems as you. You know what I'm saying?
Both of them, like, I feel like they represent two of the greatest of their types of people that we could interpret in that way.
Right.
Hard for me to make that comparison with those two.
Well, yeah, we don't have to make the comparison with those two. That's why I was
It's
just giving a general statement of
no,
like
no, it's a good statement. It's good.
we don't
It's
have to say, yo, I
good.
respect them over there more because of where they come from than this right here. Nah, I think we need to keep promoting that, hey, we come from this, but we could come from that and we can be that because our history has shown so much struggle that it's almost like if you didn't struggle, we don't want to you don't want to appreciate and respect it. And it's like, no, the point is to get to a position. Everything that the culture has ever done in the civil rights and before that, Jim Crow era, was to have it easier for us by us, right? Are we going to make our own to make our life easier? We're going to do it this way to make our life easier. So when we have this concept in our culture where I don't respect you because I came from this and you come from that. I don't respect you because I'm hard body because of what I was raised on, and you soft. You want to talk everything out. Like those nuances have also created that barrier to where, this is why we respect the streets bullshit. You see what I'm saying? That's where respecting the streets bullshit comes from, because you don't want to respect anything that don't come from that doesn't come from that. We want to respect somebody that throw hands than somebody that resolves conflict without any physical contact. You know what I'm saying? That square shit and stuff like that. So that's why I say, even in those aspects, what we respect because of the reason versus what we should also respect in the same level could be a contributing factor to why we respect the streets versus somebody that was relate. Think Diggy Simmons, for example. Diggy Simmons was nice, but Diggy Simmons he was not gonna get the same respect as somebody that we seen get it out the mud, used to battle rap or whatever, and then he comes up and he goes mainstream and he has a whole bunch of success. It's common in our culture to say, well, you're such and such a son. That's an expectation. This dude had to rap blindfolded. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta earn your keep.
Yeah. But if you just nice, You can't just, oh man, well, whatever. You didn't go through enough of what he went through. So nah, man, if you're good and you show up to play, hey, I respect it just as much as the person that had to grind 2 times harder than you, because you still are good.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? You still performed. You still
sure.
stepped up to the task. It's just like a preppy kid. You might think that preppy kid can't fight because I fight 3 times. I fight 3 times a week and I ain't took no L's. But what you don't know is he work out with his daddy every Saturday morning, and he do yard work, and they go to the gym together. And you thought that because you popping off that you finna knock him out because he got a silver spoon and he give you a golden glove.
That's respect. For sure.
That's what we've been talking. We've been talking that since we were young people. Nigga, I don't give a fuck where you come from. I can still whip your ass. Where you come from don't protect you from these hands. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We was cooking, bro. We gotta get out of here, man.
No, for sure. We
gotta get out of here.
I gotta get to this motherfucking food, man.
Gotta get out of here. Anyways, man, you've been tuning in.
Fuck, man.
You've been tuning into the Notion Podcast. I am your host, Dizzy D Spill, with my co-host in the building, as always.
Planet Poe, man. Planet Poe.
Yeah, let us
Planet
know what
Poe,
you guys think in the comment section, about everything that we talked about. F the streets, black culture, all of that stuff, because we went down a few rabbit holes. And then let us know what you guys think about the Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua fight as well. If this is your first time tuning into the Notion Podcast, make sure you subscribe, turn the notifications on at the bell so you don't miss anything, and like and subscribe for those that's pulling up. Until the next episode, we are out of here. Peace.
All right, bro.
All right, man.